If death were simply like a fire going out or like water drying up, everything would be fine. There would then be little use in practicing the Dharma. But this is not what happens. When the mind and the body separate, the body is left behind, but the mind goes on to take many more rebirths. At that point, only one thing determines where our next life will be. That is, the balance of positive and negative actions committed in the past that are embedded in our consciousness. If negative actions predominate, we will experience the suffering of rebirth in the lower realms. If positive ones predominate, we will experience rebirth in the higher states of existence. It is not on our deathbed or in the bardo that we should start to think about positive and negative actions. We may very well recognize at that time that negative actions are the cause of our suffering, and that we would be happier if we had done positive deeds. But when we are dying, there is nothing much we can do. Our karma has already built up. It is now, when we have the freedom to choose between what we should do and what we should not, that we must consider the law of karma. It is a serious mistake to think that we can do whatever we want, good or bad, and that by practicing a little Dharma on the side, we will be taken to enlightenment as though by airplane. In the bardo, even if we regret all our negative actions, it is too late. Karma has been accumulated, and nothing can stop us falling, like a stone thrown into the air. We cannot reverse the process. So it is now that we must be able to recognize and discern positive and negative actions. Even if a positive action seems insignificant, we should do it. Even if a negative action seems trivial, we should avoid it. Water dripping for a long time can fill a huge basin. A single spark can set fire to a mountain of grass. Likewise, every action has its result. Never think that a minor action leaves no trace. On the other hand, we should not think that the negative actions we have done need mark us forever. However heavy our negative actions may be, they can be purified. There is nothing that cannot be purified. So we must regret and repair all our negative actions. As we have said, since small drops of water can fill a huge vessel, we must constantly endeavor in daily life to use our body, speech, and mind for positive actions. This will build up an accumulation of merit and virtue that will help us when we are faced with the fear of death. The magnitude of positive and negative actions does not depend upon how they appear from outside. It is easy to accumulate great positive karma or great negative karma with a small action. It all depends upon our intention or attitude. For example, to help someone in a small way, but with great loving kindness, will accumulate a lot of positive karma. Likewise, a single word easily uttered may accumulate boundless negative karma if, for instance, it is used to criticize a bodhisattva. The general condition of beings in samsara is one of delusion, a state that always produces suffering. So if we ignore our negative actions and do nothing to purify, confess and repair them, we shall gradually accumulate negative karma. We shall not be able to receive the blessings of the Buddhas and spiritual teachers. Neither shall we be able to develop spiritual experience and realization. We need, therefore, to be constantly aware and mindful of the difference between virtuous and non-virtuous actions, to cultivate the former and avoid the latter. When you wake up in the morning, think, not only have I the good fortune to have been born a human being, but I have entered the door of the Dharma. I have met a spiritual teacher and received his instructions. So today I shall do my best to follow the Dharma and practice only what is positive. This I shall do not only for my own sake, but for the benefit of all living beings, without a single exception. When it is time to rest in the evening, examine everything that you have thought, said, and done during the day. If you have done something positive for yourself or others, you should rejoice, Dedicate the merit to all sentient beings and pray that by this merit they may all attain enlightenment. Make a wish that the next day you may cultivate even more virtuous actions. If you realize that you have lapsed into negative action, think, I have this precious human birth, I have met a teacher, and yet this is how I behave. You must feel strong regret and determine not to make such mistakes again. To acquire mindfulness, we need to constantly examine our intentions and actions. It does not even occur to ordinary beings who are going round and round in samsara that their negative actions are negative, that they will have harmful consequences. Even if they do realize this briefly, they do not keep it in mind, and hardly any of them put into action the means for counteracting these negative actions. This is the very reason why they stay in samsara. So we have to make an effort to be acutely mindful of our intentions and actions. We need first to remember clearly which actions should be avoided and which should be carried out. And second, to observe whether or not we are acting in accordance with what we know to be right or wrong. A teaching like this should really be taught by the Kadampa masters, whose very lives enacted their saying, no complaints when there's suffering, great renunciation when there's happiness. But if it's someone like me who explains it, then I'm sure that even my own tongue is going to get fed up and cringe with embarrassment. Still, with the sole aim of making one taste of all the worldly preoccupations my second nature, I, the old beggar Tenpe Nima, have written this here in the forest of many birds. What is the reason for cultivating virtue and avoiding non-virtue? In the ordinary samsaric condition, there is nothing but suffering. This is evident if we look at the various realms of samsara. The three lower realms are all conditions of the utmost misery. In the hell realms, as a result of anger and hatred, beings suffer unbearably from heat or cold. As a result of greed and miserliness, tortured spirits do not even hear of food or water for many years. Animals experience the fruit of stupidity, the lack of discernment between virtue and non-virtue. They are blind to the path of liberation and have no way of recognizing what will bring them happiness or suffering. Domestic animals are used as slaves and slaughtered for their meat and skin. Then there are the realms of the human beings, demigods, and gods. These are called the three higher realms because the suffering there is less oppressive. Human beings have 8 different kinds of suffering. They suffer from birth, sickness, old age, and death. They suffer when they meet enemies, part from friends, encounter circumstances they do not want, and are deprived of the circumstances they like. Demigods are constantly tormented by jealousy and animosity towards the gods, or celestial beings, because the wish-fulfilling tree is rooted in their realm, but bears its fruit in the realm of the gods. When the demigods see the gods enjoying this fruit, and also the lakes of ambrosia, and all the other perfect and pleasurable things they cannot have themselves, they burn with unbearable jealousy. They try to attack and fight the gods, but they are always defeated. Even the celestial beings, who seem to have everything one could desire, magnificent palaces and gardens, forests filled with flowers and birds, beautiful companions, delicious food, and so forth, are far from being beyond suffering. Once they have enjoyed these, the fruits of minor positive actions, and their karma has been exhausted, they will be reborn again in the most sorrowful states of samsara. If you think about all the different states you can experience in samsara and realize that nothing is beyond suffering, strong feelings of weariness and sadness will arise in you. You will wonder, how can I ever free myself from this suffering? This is called the feeling of renunciation, the desire to get out of samsara. It is the basis and starting point of Dharma practice. When someone is thrown into prison by a tyrant, night and day he will think, how miserable I am. How can I get out of here? Who can help me? These will be his only thoughts. In the same way, once you recognize that there is no satisfaction in samsara, but only suffering, you will think, how can I get free? Who can help me? What are the means to obtain liberation? When you reflect on this very deeply, it will become clear that you need the help of the spiritual teacher, that you must avoid the kind of actions that lead to suffering, and that you must cultivate those that bring happiness.